Hello everyone, our team's chosen theme is Environment and Sustainability, which we'll be exploring at a Year 4 level. My focus within our program is Design and Technologies, and the resource I've chosen is something students would encounter every day, a discarded plastic bottle. I chose this resource because although students may initially see it as simply as rubbish, it can become the starting point for creative thinking about waste, sustainability, and the role design can play in creating a more sustainable future. I would introduce the bottle as an authentic design challenge by asking students, how could we redesign something that would normally become waste and give it a new and useful purpose? Students would first investigate the bottle's original purpose, its materials and properties, and what happens to plastic when we dispose of it. They would then move through a design process of researching the problem, generating and communicating ideas, producing a solution, and evaluating and improving their design. Students could potentially transform the bottle into a planter, bird feeder, watering device, or storage solution. However, these would only be examples rather than products for students to copy. The purpose is for students to develop their own solution. This creates meaningful cross-curricular connections with science as students investigate materials and their properties, and geography as they consider waste, human impacts on environments, and sustainability. It also complements our team's arts learning by encouraging students to consider how the visual and aesthetic qualities of a design product can communicate meaning as well as serve a practical function. The bigger purpose of this activity is for students to actively experience sustainability through creative problem solving. Students become makers by generating ideas and creating their own solution, and responders by evaluating their own and others' designs and considering how they could be improved. As the teacher, I would use open-ended questions such as, what else could this bottle become? Encouraging divergent thinking rather than providing one product for students to copy. This supports creativity, imagination, and self-expression, while students develop aesthetic awareness by considering the function, shape, form, and visual presentation of their designs. They also develop design language through annotated sketches, prototypes, evaluation, and redesign. The open-ended task supports student agency and inclusion, as children can design around their own interests and skills and communicate their ideas through drawing, discussion, writing, or models. Visual prompts, templates, adapted materials, and peer support can provide additional scaffolding. Ultimately, this bottle allows students to become creative makers and responders while recognizing how design can contribute to a more sustainable future.